In this unit, I want to show you how to legally use your dealer license plates and issue what are known as temporary license plates on the vehicles you sell. Here you see a Washington dealer license plate. The state has very strict guidelines on how you can legally use your dealer plates, and I want to cover the legal use of your dealer license plates right now. These are the legal ways to use your dealer license plates. Customer test drives. You can place a dealer plate on a vehicle that's being test driven by your customer. A test drive is permitted for up to 72 hours, provided that the driver carries a dated demonstration permit that was issued by you. I want you to be aware, I have never sold a vehicle after allowing a customer to test drive it overnight, not one single time. I have found when you let a customer take a vehicle overnight, they will think of many ways to try and negotiate the price down when they return. Maybe they located a small paint chip, or maybe they located a little bit of rust on a bumper. Maybe they think the vehicle needs new shocks or something like that, so on and so forth. When you allow a customer to take a vehicle overnight or even longer, they've usually lost that initiative to close that deal, and they'll point out many small, minute defects and use that information to try and get you to lower the price substantially in most cases. When a customer's taking a test drive, I've always asked the customers when I should expect them to return, or I'd state something like, I'll see you back here in a little while. I think you're really going to like this car. If you do decide to allow a customer to test drive your vehicle for an extended amount of time, then that customer must have a dated demonstration permit that was issued by you, the dealer, and the customer can never keep the vehicle for more than 72 hours. Business use by owners and employees. Dealers, their spouses, and dealership employees may operate dealer-plated vehicles only if the vehicle is actively offered for sale and the driver carries a valid dealer identification card. Maintenance and dealer events. Dealer plates may be used when moving vehicles to and from repair facilities, between dealership locations, or even to car shows or events that last 20 days or less. You can use them for testing and repair. You can use a dealer plate for testing purposes, that's allowed, but testing and repair restrictions would apply as well. Transportation for sale. Dealer plates may be used on vehicles being transported to or from a dealer's place of business. So say, for example, when you buy a vehicle at a dealer auction, you can place a dealer plate on it and drive it back to your dealership, or vice versa. Maybe you've taken a trade-in that you don't want. You can place a dealer plate on the trade-in and drive it to the dealer auction. That's what dealer plates are for. Let's talk a little bit more about customer test drives. A dealer plate may be used during a test drive, and the dealer does not have to ride along with the customer. If the dealer is not in the vehicle, then the dealer must issue a demonstration permit that I mentioned a few moments ago. The demo permit authorizes the customer to drive that vehicle. They are valid for up to 72 hours, and they're only for demonstration and possible purchase reasons only. Anyone affiliated with your dealership that is driving a vehicle with dealer plates must carry a dealer ID card, and that includes the dealer, corporate officers or LLC members, their spouses, and any dealer employees. So they have to carry proof that they are part of your dealership. Testing vehicles for repair. Dealers can test vehicles only to diagnose or verify known or existing problems, and testing must stay within the legal weight limits as well. Testing may not involve commercial hauling. So for example, you could never haul a load and get paid when you're using a dealer plate. Please always remember that. Testing must be done by an owner, corporate officer, LLC member, or company employee only with the proper ID. I want you to know, when you acquire a vehicle with out-of-state license plates, like maybe you've taken a trade-in for an out-of-state customer, if you receive a vehicle with out-of-state plates, the plates must be covered by your dealer plates during demo drives. When that vehicle is sold, the out-of-state plates must be removed and destroyed before you deliver the vehicle. A dealer may deliver the vehicle with the out-of-state plates still attached to the buyer if the buyer lives in the same state that the vehicle was taken on trade, but is taken out of the state immediately. So please keep that in mind. One of the following must be done as well. In that scenario, the buyer would need to sign a non-resident affidavit agreeing to register the vehicle in their home state, and the buyer would also obtain a trip permit to drive that vehicle home. Now I want to talk to you about the prohibited use of a Washington dealer license plate. Dealer plates may not be used on any vehicle belonging to a member of the dealer's family. Dealer plates may not be used on any vehicle owned by the dealer if such vehicle is used exclusively by members of the dealer's family. Dealer plates may not be used on any vehicle loaned to the dealer during service. So if you own a repair shop, you can't lend the customer a vehicle that has a dealer plate on it. This is a violation of state law, so I want you to please remember that. When you're mounting the dealer license plate on a vehicle, you must securely mount it in the license plate holder on the rear of the vehicle. You don't want to use one of those dealer plate magnets, and I've even seen dealer plates in plastic bags hanging from the trunk. This is not allowed. The dealer must securely mount that license plate on the rear of the vehicle in the license plate frame, like you see right now. You're also going to be required to keep an accurate record of your dealer license plate users by using what is called a dealer license plate log. Dealers must keep accurate dealer plate usage records, and you must record who drove them and when and why those plates were used. And here you see a dealer plate form that shows the plate number, who it was assigned to, the time in and out, and the required signature as well. So make sure you are keeping a dealer license plate log. This is state law as well. On this screen, I want to show you the current dealer plate fees that were in effect when this video was being recorded. And please note these fees could change at any time. I'm not going to read all these fees, but this does give you an idea of what dealer license plates cost based on the type of plate that you're ordering, such as motor vehicle plates or miscellaneous motorcycle plates, off-road snowmobile decals, and things like that. So when you have a boat or snowmobile, you have decals instead, which would be used instead of a dealer license plate when you're licensed to sell boats. So please keep that in mind. You can also order additional plates or decals, so you can easily do that online, or you can mail your request to the Department of Revenue in Olympia. The address is shown right there on your screen. If you have any questions whatsoever regarding the legal use of dealer plates or decals, or ordering questions, you can call Business Licensing at 360-705-6741, or you can easily send them an email to bls@dor.wa.gov. Next, I want to cover the very important issuance of what is known as a temporary license plate, like you see right here. You will be able to legally issue a temporary license plate on the vehicles you sell, but you will need to be aware the state has strict guidelines you must be aware of before you ever issue a temporary license plate. So what is a temporary license plate? A dealer temporary license plate is basically a combination title application and temporary registration, and that's used by dealers when you're selling a vehicle. They're used when you're delivering a vehicle that's not currently registered and doesn't have a valid Washington license plate, tab, decal, or the current tabs will expire within 45 days of the date of the delivery. Dealers are required to provide the customer with 2 temporary plates, one on the front of the vehicle sold and one on the rear of the vehicle sold. You must be very consistent and always issue 2 temporary license plates on each vehicle sold. Dealers are going to issue temporary license plates through a system which is called the e-permit system, which I'm going to show you here in just a couple moments. As a licensed Washington motor vehicle dealer, you will need to be aware there are 2 different types of temporary license plates that you can use. There is a temporary license plate credit that's used to issue temporary license plates in a title application. And there's also what's known as an unassigned temporary license plate, which can be purchased and printed prior to issuance. And I'm going to explain the difference between the two so you will have a greater understanding. First, I want to cover what is known as an unassigned temporary license plate. You can order unassigned temporary license plates that can be used in the following scenarios. You might sell a vehicle and all of a sudden the e-permit system is down, or maybe you're at an off-site sale location that's registered with the state where you don't have access to the internet, or maybe your internet service is down, or maybe your phone line's down, or maybe you've got a hardware failure at your location which prevents you from accessing data. Not having supplies such as paper, ink, cartridges does not constitute a hardware failure, so please keep that in mind. So if one of these issues affect you and keep you from logging into the e-permit system to issue a temporary license plate at the time of the sale, you can instead use what is called an unassigned temporary license plate. Now, if you do this, the expiration date must be manually recorded in dark, bold letters and numbers, and the dealer may not have more than 10 unassigned temporary license plates at one time, unless an exception was approved by the department, and that would normally be for very high volume dealers. Information must be entered into the e-permitting system within 24 hours of the issuance. If the information is not entered into the e-permitting system within 24 hours of issuance, it may result in not being able to pre-print additional unassigned temporary license plates. So please do keep that in mind. Dealers can purchase temporary license plate credits or unassigned temporary license plates either through your e-permits account, which I'll show you here in a moment, or from your local vehicle licensing office. I strongly advise you to do this through your e-permitting account. So what is e-permits? E-permits is an electronic online system which allows Washington licensed motor vehicle dealers to issue, revoke, and reprint dealer temporary license plates online. All retail vehicle dealers must use e-permits. I want to repeat that very important information. All retail dealers must use e-permits. In order to issue an e-permit, you're going to need, obviously, computer, internet access, an Adobe or some other type of PDF reader. You're going to have a laser printer, and you're going to need specific paper that is manufactured for the purpose of temporary license plates. And you can purchase that paper that you will be required to use either through your e-permit account or from your local vehicle licensing bureau. And I want to show you how to use e-permits right now. You can easily get started at secure.dol.wa.gov, and you're going to click on the green Join Now button. On this page, be sure to click the License Express for Business button, as you see right here. Then you're going to enter your name. You'll create a username and a password and enter your email. Now, under the dealer e-permits, you will select a link that says Request Access to e-permit account, like you see right here. Now you're going to choose your access level, then you're going to enter your State Unified Business ID, that's your UBI, and your dealer license number. As a reminder, you cannot access the e-permit system until you have received your Washington dealer license, and at that time, you can enter your new dealer license number. Then you're going to enter your name and whether you are an owner, and then you'll also enter your dealer license expiration date. And now you have accessed the e-permitting section of your License Express account, where you'll be able to order and issue your temporary license plates that will be used when you're selling a vehicle. Now, this important page is something that I want to magnify, so you'll easily see what we can do. And I'm going to delve into the different functions of your e-permits account that you see right here. First, you can see a link that allows you to generate your temporary license plate and the title application. So when you get up and running, this will be the link that I think you're going to use the most. You're going to use this link whenever you have a retail sale. The next link allows you to purchase your temporary license plate credits to use later, or purchase the unassigned temporary license plates I showed you a few moments ago. As stated a moment ago, if you purchase an unassigned temporary license plate and place them on a vehicle when the e-permit system was down, or maybe you had a temporary internet disruption, you can print the unassigned plates to keep in your records as well. Then, if you have placed one on a vehicle when e-permits was down, or for other reasons, you must use the next link to register that unassigned temporary license plate within 24 hours. So be sure to register it if you did not have access to e-permits within 24 hours. And finally, you can use the link at the bottom to register a paper permit to a vehicle. And I don't want you to worry, because once you've done a couple of transactions and have these under your belt, you are going to be an expert at issuing temporary license plates. So the first step, after you've received your dealer's license, obviously, and created an e-permits account, you're going to need to click on the link that says Purchase temporary license plate credits or unassigned temporary license plates, because you cannot issue these if you do not purchase them in advance. Then you're going to enter the number of e-permits that you want to order. These are basically temporary license plate credits. You're going to purchase these in advance, and then you will issue them when you sell a vehicle. Pretty easy, huh? And just below that, you can order your unassigned temporary license plates that can be used if e-permits is down, if you don't have internet access temporarily. And as stated earlier, most dealers are allowed to have a maximum of 10 unassigned temporary license plates. The state may allow you to have more if you're a very large volume dealer, but the department will decide those on a case-by-case basis for each dealer. So a very large majority of dealers in the state will be allowed a maximum of 10 unassigned temporary license plates. And you can see here the balance remaining. And just below that is the field where you can complete your order for unassigned temporary license plates, which cannot exceed the maximum that you're currently allowed. Then you'll click Next. And you're going to be given a choice of how to pay for your temporary license plates and credits. And this is how you order your temporary license plates or your unassigned temporary license plates. So you can either pay with your bank account or credit card there. And when you need to print an unassigned temporary license plate, just click this link here. And you can easily print your unassigned plates. And next, you can register an unassigned plate to that vehicle. Remember, this must be done within 24 hours if you place an unassigned temporary license plate on a vehicle. And finally, I want to jump back up to the top here and show you the link that I think you will be using the most. And I believe that is why it's placed at the very top of the e-permits page, which is the Generate Temporary License Plate and Title Application link. This is the link you will select when you have already purchased your temporary license plate credits and have just sold a vehicle to a customer, and now you can generate your temporary license plate and the title application for your customer. I want to repeat that, very important information. When you sell a vehicle to a customer, you're going to log into your e-permits account to generate your temporary license plate and the customer title application for the vehicle that you just sold. When you reach this screen, you will first see your dealer number and your dealer license type. And just below that, you will see the number of permit credits that you purchased. So this will show how many temporary license plates that you can issue. You're going to then enter whether the vehicle is new or used. And then you're going to enter the title information, such as the state of the title number, and the date of the issue. All of this information will be on the title to the vehicle that you're selling. On a side note, if you are buying vehicles at dealer auctions, many times you will buy vehicles that have titles from other states other than Washington. You might think that when you get your Washington dealer license to start buying vehicles from Washington dealer auctions that you might acquire a lot of vehicles with Washington titles, but you're going to soon learn that may not be the case. There could be a rental car company, say for example, located in California, that sells 200 or 300 cars that came out of a 2-year rental program, and that rental car company may decide to sell all their vehicles at the dealer auctions in Seattle or some other dealer auctions in the state. So one day at the auction, you might buy several vehicles that have California titles. The next week, you might purchase a few vehicles that have Oregon titles. It's very common for you to purchase vehicles from Washington dealer auctions that have titles from other states. As a licensed Washington motor vehicle dealer, you're going to be able to sell those vehicles with out-of-state titles. You're just going to enter what state issued the title to the vehicle sold, like you see right here. Then you're going to enter the sale date, the purchase price, and the date of the delivery. Then you'll enter the odometer reading and the registration link. And on the next page, you're going to enter all the vehicle details, such as the make, model, and any additional information. Always make sure that all this information is true and correct. Then you're going to enter the pricing information. Next, you're going to enter the registered owner and whether you're selling the vehicle to an individual or a business along with their phone number. On this page, you want to make sure you are spelling the customer's name correctly as it appears on their ID. If you misspell the customer name here, their name will be misspelled on that new title they receive, and they're probably going to be upset with you. So make sure you are spelling their name correctly, exactly as it appears on their ID. Double check all those vehicle details, and then you can review any additional options that your customer wants to make, such as donations to other charities and things like that. At this point, several things are about to happen. So when you click Next, you're going to see a review summary, and then you can print the title application and the temporary license plate, as you see right here. On the left side of the screen, you're going to see the official title application for the customer that was automatically generated. And over to the right, you're going to see your temporary license plate, which is going to print in a moment and be placed on the vehicle you sold. Now, you can just print this in your laser printer. Now, the title can be printed on normal paper, but please remember the temporary license plate must be printed on paper that is specifically made for temporary license plates. And you can get that paper directly through your e-permits account or by visiting your local vehicle licensing bureau. Before I show you how to apply the temporary license plates to the vehicle sold, there's some important information that I want you to be aware of. Dealers are required to issue 2 temporary license plates to each vehicle sold, one on the front of the vehicle and one on the rear of the vehicle. Be sure that you mount one temporary license plate on the front of the vehicle you sold, as you see right here, and you'll also mount the second temporary license plate on the rear of the vehicle, like you see right here. On this screen, you're also going to see what is known as your temporary license plate tear-off receipt that you'll remove and provide to the customer to keep in the vehicle at all times while the vehicle is being driven with a temporary license plate. If your customer is pulled over while driving a vehicle with a temporary license plate, the law enforcement officer will always demand to see that receipt. So be sure to remind your customer they must keep that receipt in the vehicle the entire time a vehicle is being driven with a temporary license plate. On the screen, you're going to see a link to a very informative e-permits webinar that you can watch, and I'll leave this on the screen for just a few moments in case you want to pause the video and record that URL so you can view the e-permits webinar to learn a lot more about issuing temporary license plates on the vehicles you sell. If you have any questions regarding e-permits or the issuance of temporary license plates, you can call 360-664-9698, or you can email questions to driveshelp@dol.wa.gov. Once again, ePermits allows Washington licensed motor vehicle dealers to issue, revoke, or reprint dealer temporary license plates online. All retail vehicle dealers must use ePermits. I know there was a lot of information in this unit, but you can always review this information again at washingtondealer.com. And at that time, you can fast forward to the exact content that you want to review. Just go to washingtondealer.com and click on the videos link to review all the videos in your course and several other videos that I really hope you will find very helpful when you're running your new business.